I've always believed betrayal hurts most when it comes from someone you would have died for. My name is Ethan Cole, born and raised in a small suburban town in Ohio. Quiet, friendly, the type where neighbors waved at each other while mowing lawns on weekends. I grew up thinking trust was natural, honesty expected, love sacred. I was wrong. Back then, life was simple. I worked at a small auto workshop, saved every penny I could, and planned to start a business someday, repairing and reselling old cars. Not glamorous, but it was my passion, and everything felt even more meaningful because of her. Emily Carter, my girlfriend of 5 years. Golden brown hair, soft laugh, a smile that could disarm anyone. She dreamt of becoming a hotel manager, loved coffee-flavored ice cream, and always said she wanted a small house with a white fence. We met in high school. I fixed her bike chain, she said thanks with a shy smile, and suddenly the world felt brighter. Then there was my best friend, Erin Brooks. We grew up together, shared toys, secrets, dreams. We were closer than brothers. If anyone asked, I'd say, I trust Erin with my life. Funny how life loves irony. Emily and I had plans, real plans. I worked double shifts to afford a ring. Nothing flashy, just a simple silver band with a tiny diamond. Every night I'd open the small velvet box and imagine her saying yes. I saw her future in my eyes. She saw something else. The first cracks were small, almost invisible. She began dressing differently, spending more time studying, coming home later. New perfume, a new phone she guarded like a secret diary. I asked if everything was okay. She would smile, kiss my cheek softly, and say, "Baby, you worry too much." And I believed her. People like me trust too easily. People like Emily know it. But the real red flag arrived the night she forgot to lock her phone. She was asleep beside me, breathing softly, hair across her pillow. A notification popped up, screen glowing in the dark. Erin, can't stop thinking about last night. My heart didn't just sink, it shattered. My hands trembled as I opened the chat. Message after message, texts, photos, secrets, weeks of conversations, plans to meet, jokes about me, whispered affection meant for lovers, not friends. I felt like the air was sucked out of my lungs. My ears rang, my vision blurred. I wanted to scream, break things, wake her up and demand answers. But I just sat there, numb, reading every word until dawn. When she woke up, she saw me sitting on the edge of the bed holding her phone. The look on her face told me everything. Guilt, fear, panic. "Ethan, I raised a hand. "No lies," I whispered. Silence, heavy, suffocating. She broke down crying, begging to explain, but every word felt like poison. She said it just happened, that she was confused, that she still loved me. Funny, she loved me while sleeping with my best friend. Erin didn't even have the courage to face me. He blocked me everywhere. 2 betrayals, 1 heart, and a future burned to ashes. For weeks, I walked like a ghost, ate little, slept even less. My mother told me, sometimes heartbreak builds a stronger man. But at the time, all I felt was pain. Then came the job offer, the spark in the darkness, a chance to work at Henderson Motor Group in New York, one of the biggest dealerships in the state. I didn't have a degree, but I had skills and determination. Maybe life was giving me one last chance. I took it. Left Ohio, left Emily, left my past. No goodbye, no last look, just a silent vow. I will rise, I will succeed, and one day they will regret losing me. That was the day revenge quietly began writing itself. The city changed me. New York was loud, fast, competitive, the kind of place that chews you up if you're weak.
I
Part
worked
2,
harder than I had
Meeting
ever
the
had.
Ghost of My
Learned
Past.
sales, management,
The next
strategy,
week felt
stayed in the office
unreal.
late nights,
I kept
watched
staring at the
others
file
climb
on my
while I
desk,
climbed
reading
faster.
her name
Within 3
again
years,
and
I
again.
moved from mechanic.
Emily Carter, the woman who promised forever and chose betrayal instead. I thought I'd feel hatred boiling inside me, but instead, there was a cold, still clarity, like the moment before a storm hits. I had worked for years, climbed from greasy hands to tailored suits, earned respect in a world where no one hands success for free. And now, she was coming into my world, not knowing she would walk straight under my authority, not knowing I held her future in my hands. On Wednesday morning, I put on my best charcoal suit, polished shoes, cufflinks I only wore at big meetings. I wanted her to see what she lost, not the broken boy she left behind, but the man forged from the ashes she created. The conference room buzzed with chatter as new employees gathered for orientation. I entered calmly, placing my folder down. Heads turned. A few interns whispered, "That's Ethan Cole, the youngest division head." I nodded politely, scanning the crowd. And there she was, Emily. She looked older, more polished, but the same eyes, unsure, searching, unaware. Her hair straighter now, wearing a light blue blouse with a nervous smile. Her gaze moved across the room until it met mine. It happened in 1 second. Recognition. Her eyes widened, breath hitched. She stood frozen like someone seeing a ghost rise from the grave they buried. "Ethan?" she whispered. I smiled professionally, emotionless. "Good morning, Ms. Carter. Find a seat. We're about to begin." She blinked rapidly, clearly shaken. She opened her mouth like she wanted to speak privately, but the room was watching. She lowered her eyes and sat. Inside, I felt a cold satisfaction. For years, she had all the power, my heart, my loyalty, my trust. Now, tables turned. The orientation went smoothly. I explained rules, responsibilities, growth opportunities. I treated her like every new hire, no special attention, no bitterness. That was the real sting. She expected drama, confrontation, tears. She got professionalism, and silence hurts louder than shouting. After the session ended, everyone left except her. She stood near the door, gripping her purse. "Ethan, please, can we talk?" I looked at her like she was just any employee, not a woman who once destroyed me. "About work?" She swallowed. "No, about us." I leaned back against the desk, arms folded. "There is no us, Emily, only work, and for that, I expect professionalism." Her voice cracked, soft. "I'm sorry, for everything. I know I deserve—" I cut her off gently but firmly. "You don't owe me apologies here. This is business. If you work hard, you'll be treated fairly like everyone else." She stared at me, confused, almost hurt that I felt nothing. But she didn't know the truth. I felt everything, controlled, sharpened, weaponized, because forgiveness wasn't my goal. Revenge was. Weeks passed. Emily tried small conversations. I answered with polite distance. She brought coffee because she thought I might like it. I thanked her, placed it aside untouched. Sometimes I'd catch her staring, regret heavy in her eyes. She realized she didn't just lose a boyfriend, she lost a man who became everything she once wanted me to be. The universe has a poetic sense of humor. Meanwhile, rumors spread in the office. The new trainee seemed particularly interested in the boss, but no one knew our history. Not yet. Then, on a Friday afternoon, fate played its next card.
During a partnership meeting with the hotel chain director, I learned there would be internal promotions soon. 2 candidates would be chosen for a prestigious project involving interstate luxury car hotel collaboration. A career booster, high salary jump, reputation. Emily was working hard for it. Late nights, extra tasks, volunteer weekends. I admired her effort, but effort doesn't erase betrayal, and I had something planned, something deliciously karmic. One evening, while reviewing performance files alone in my office, I received a call. The name flashing on screen nearly made me laugh. Aaron Brooks. Yes, him, the man I once called brother. My thumb hovered before accepting. "Aaron?" I said, calmly. There was a pause, like he didn't expect me to answer. Then his voice, awkward and reduced. "Hey, man. Long time. I heard you're doing great. Big position. Congrats." I leaned back, smirking silently. "So, what made you call?" He cleared his throat. "Actually, I moved to New York, too. Things didn't go well back home. I was wondering if you could help me find a job. I know you're in the auto industry, and—" I almost choked on irony. The same man who betrayed me now wanted my help. Karma doesn't delay, it strikes when the audience is paying attention. I spoke with measured calm. "Email me your resume. I'll see what I can do." His voice filled with relief. "Ethan, thank you, man. I knew our friendship meant something." He had no idea. I wasn't helping a friend. I was pulling threads of a trap. A week later, Emily entered my office, not as a lover, not as a traitor, but as a subordinate determined to grow. She brought reports, suggestions, ideas. She worked hard, genuinely. Sometimes I saw the girl I once loved buried inside a woman carrying regret. But regret doesn't heal betrayal, and that's when I initiated the next phase. I gathered the team for a project briefing, including Emily. When all eyes were forward, I spoke. "We will recruit one more person for this project's media coordination, someone with past marketing experience." Then I displayed a resume on the projector screen. Aaron Brooks, Marketing and Events. Emily's face turned pale. She whispered under her breath, horrified, "No, Ethan, please." But I continued professionally. "I've recommended him for an interview. I believe he could add value to our team." Her hands shook. She stared at me, silently begging, but I looked away, indifferent. The room clapped. Everyone welcomed the idea. Emily's world was collapsing publicly. She cheated on me with my best friend, and now, without knowing, she might have to work beside him, under me. 2 betrayers, 1 workplace, 1 boss. Me. Revenge wasn't a moment. It was a slow-burning symphony, and I was just tuning the instruments.
Part 3. The reunion that broke her. If Part 1 was the spark and Part 2 was gasoline, Part 3 is where the fire finally touches skin. Aaron arrived for his interview the following Tuesday. I watched from my office window as he walked across the lobby. Same confident stride, same casual smile he wore the night he betrayed our friendship. Life must have hit him hard. He looked thinner, cheaper suit, nervous eyes. The man who once bragged about never needing help now came searching for mine. Emily stood at the reception desk that morning, organizing files. She turned, recognized him instantly, and froze. The color drained from her face as if she saw a ghost crawling from her past. Their eyes met. Aaron forced a smile. Emily's lips trembled. For a moment, time felt painfully slow. I stepped out of my office deliberately, letting my footsteps echo across the hall like a judge entering a courtroom. "Welcome, Aaron," I said, voice smooth and controlled. "Glad you made it." He shook my hand with both of his, desperate politeness. Emily stared between us, speechless. Finally, she whispered, voice breaking, "You two, you're talking again." I glanced at her with quiet amusement. Why wouldn't we? She swallowed, guilt visible like open wounds. Erin avoided her eyes at first, then forced a casual nod. "Hey, Em." If regret had a sound, it lived in her nervous breath at that moment. The interview. I led Erin into the conference room. Emily was assigned to assist, by my design. She sat across from him, pen shaking slightly. Her eyes flickered with memories, stolen nights, hidden texts, the betrayal that burned my innocence. While she suffered silently, I kept everything strictly professional. "So," I began, "tell us why you left Ohio." Erin hesitated, glancing at Emily before speaking. Things didn't work out, lost my job, needed a fresh start." I pressed deeper, slowly twisting the knife. "And your relationships back there, still in touch with old friends?" He shifted uncomfortably. "Not really, made mistakes, trying to fix things now." Emily looked like she might cry. I leaned forward, eyes locked on his. "And if you could face the person you hurt most, what would you say?" The room was still, silent, heavy. Erin's voice cracked. "I'd say I'm sorry, I was stupid, I ruined something good." Emily wiped a tear quickly, hoping I didn't notice. But I noticed everything. This wasn't forgiveness. This was accountability served cold. The offer. An hour later, I stood and shook Erin's hand again. "You're hired, 3-month probation, report Monday." His face lit with relief. "Thank you, Ethan, really." I smiled, polite, unreadable. "Work hard, earn my trust." Emily stayed seated, fragile, breaking internally. After Erin left, she finally spoke, voice barely audible. "Why are you doing this?" I looked down at her trembling hands. "You both made choices, now life is just setting the stage." She stared into my eyes, searching for love, hate, anything, but I gave her nothing, only calculated neutrality, the kind that makes someone question whether you ever loved them at all, and that hurt more than anger ever could. The workplace tension. Monday arrived. Erin joined the team officially. Emily avoided him, avoided me, avoided her reflection if she could. At meetings, she kept her eyes on papers. In hallways, she took longer routes. During lunch, she hid behind coffee cups like they were shields. But avoiding the past doesn't erase it. One evening, I walked into the break room. Emily stood alone washing her cup, quietly crying. She didn't know I was behind her. Her voice cracked in the empty room. "I lost him, and I deserve this." For a moment, I felt a flicker. Old love, old memories, like a ghost brushing past. But ghosts don't change truth. She betrayed me. They both did. And forgiveness without accountability is weakness. So I stepped forward, let my voice echo softly. "You can go home early today. You've worked hard." She turned, startled, tears caught in her lashes. "Ethan," her voice fragile, "do you hate me?" I held her gaze, steady, calm, unreadable. "No, hate gives power." I simply moved on. Her heart broke visibly, because sometimes indifference is more painful than revenge itself. The project announcement. 2 months passed. Emily improved, maybe to prove herself, maybe to earn redemption. Erin worked sincerely too, eager to rebuild his life. Ironically, betrayal made them better employees. Then came the promotion day, the decision everyone waited weeks for. The conference room was full. Excitement, fear, anticipation. I walked in with 2 envelopes, the final shortlist for the career-changing project. 2 winners. Emily prayed silently. Erin sat upright. The entire office watched. I opened the first envelope. The first candidate chosen for the leadership project is Emily Carter. She gasped, relief, shock, joy. For a moment, she forgot pain, betrayal, everything. Tears welled in her eyes. This was her dream since college. She whispered, "Thank you." I opened the second envelope slowly, and the second candidate is
Aaron Brooks. Gasps, murmurs, Emily's joy twisted into panic. Two ex-lovers, working together, supervised by the man they betrayed. That's not coincidence, that's fate with a sense of humor. I continued, "You both will lead this assignment jointly. I expect full cooperation." Emily looked like the ground disappeared beneath her feet. Aaron looked stunned, guilty. My expression remained neutral, professional, but inside I felt justice whisper, "Now feel what I felt, side by side, suffocating in your own choices." When the meeting ended, everyone congratulated them. Smiles, pats on the back. They forced smiles while drowning inside. Emily eventually approached me privately. "Please don't do this. Don't make me work with him. You know what happened." I replied calmly, "I do, and so do you, but growth doesn't come from comfort." Her voice trembled. "Are you punishing me?" I stepped close enough for her to see the truth in my eyes. "No, Emily, I'm letting life punish you." Then I walked away, leaving her frozen like a statue of regret. This isn't the end of karma, it's only halftime, because soon the real
Part 4.
downfall begins.
Cracks beneath the surface. The project began like fresh paint on rotten wood, smooth on top, decaying underneath. Emily and Aaron were professional at first, polite, stiff, distant. They spoke only when necessary. No laughter, no familiarity, just two people chained together by their own past mistakes. And I watched every moment, not with cruelty, but with control. Because revenge isn't about destruction, it's about education. The assigned task. The project involved designing a luxury car showcase in collaboration with 5-star hotels, promotion events, VIP invitations, media coverage, a massive responsibility. I called both of them to my office. "You'll create the event proposal together," I instructed. "Emily, you manage logistics and hotel coordination. Aaron, marketing strategy and press relations." They nodded reluctantly. "And," I added casually, "you must share one office room until the proposal is approved." Emily's eyes widened. Aaron inhaled sharply. "Sharing space with the person you ruined your life with? That's not work. That's psychological gravity." The first fractures. 2 days later, while passing by their shared office, I heard them arguing softly. Emily's voice, hurt, controlled. "You never even apologized to me properly." Aaron replied, defensive, "I tried. You blocked me, left town. What else?" "You never came after me," she snapped. Silence. I didn't enter. I just walked by like a breeze, knowing their own guilt was ripping them apart better than I ever could. By week 2, stress made tempers thinner than paper. Emily worked late nights, sometimes until midnight. Aaron struggled with planning and often failed deadlines. Arguments grew sharper, tears more frequent. People in the office noticed. Whispers began. "They don't get along at all. I heard they knew each other before. Something is off. Rumor is a wildfire. You only need one spark." The build-up to breakdown. One evening, I stayed late finishing reports. From down the hall, I heard a chair slam, followed by Emily's voice cracking. "You ruined everything. My relationship, my future, and now this project?" Aaron snapped back. "You were part of it too. Don't act like a victim." Her sob carried pain years old. "I know you don't know that. Every night I regret what we did. Ethan loved me. I destroyed the only good thing I ever had." Those words hit me like a silent thunder. I closed my eyes, not with pain, but with closure. She finally admitted out loud what life had taught her. Regret is the heaviest chain. I walked into the room calmly. Both went quiet like students caught fighting. Emily wiped tears quickly. Aaron looked away. I placed their files on the desk.
You missed the layout deadline. We present in 2 days. Emily's voice trembled. We'll finish it. You better, I replied coldly. Failure could cost you the project positions. Their fear was visible, not of losing a job, but losing a chance to redeem themselves. The night of the proposal. The night before presentation, they stayed to work late. I intentionally stayed too, unseen in my office, lights off, watching the hallway. Emily sat with messy hair, eyes red from crying. Aaron typed frantically, guilt aging him. At 11:48 p.m., I walked in with 3 coffees. They looked up, stunned. You two need energy, I said calmly, placing cups down. Emily stared like she didn't deserve kindness. Aaron whispered, "Thank you, man." I sat with them, helping silently, fixing timelines, guiding structure. We worked like old classmates forced back together, ghosts sitting quietly beside us. By 2 a.m., the proposal was finally complete. Emily looked at me with swollen eyes and whispered, "Why are you helping us?" I looked directly into her soul. Because revenge isn't about destroying you, it's about making you grow through the pain you gave me. Her tears fell, but not from heartbreak this time, from realization. Aaron lowered his head. "I'm sorry, Ethan, for everything. If I could undo it." "You can't, but you can learn." The presentation day. The next morning, the CEO and board gathered for evaluation. Emily and Aaron presented nervously but confidently. Their voice shook at times, but their work was impressive. When they finished, the room applauded. "Excellent proposal," the CEO said. "Innovative teamwork." Emily and Aaron exchanged a brief look, not romantic, not friendly, just 2 people acknowledging a shared wound. Later, the board decision came. The project was approved. The office erupted in cheers. Emily cried, relief flooding her. Aaron exhaled deeply. But while everyone celebrated, I watched quietly, knowing something big was coming. Destiny was moving pieces none of us had seen yet. And that night it arrived. The twist I didn't expect. After the celebration, Emily knocked on my office door. "Come in," I said, expecting gratitude, but her expression was different, steady, emotional, vulnerable. She sat down slowly. "Ethan, I need to confess something." I raised an eyebrow. She inhaled deeply. "I'm leaving." The words hit harder than betrayal ever did, sharp, unexpected. "Leaving?" I repeated. She nodded, eyes filled with a new kind of strength. "I applied for a management scholarship in Chicago. I got accepted today. I think I need to start my life somewhere fresh. I need to learn to be a better person, not to fix the past, but to build a future I won't regret." Her voice cracked, but she didn't cry. "I know I hurt you. I know I can never undo it. But thank you for everything. The job, the chance, even the pain you let me face. You taught me accountability." She placed an envelope on the table, a handwritten letter. "For closure," she whispered. Then she stood to leave. I could have stopped her, could have asked her to stay, could have closed the door on her escape, but revenge had already run its course. She came broken, she left wiser. That was justice. She walked out silently, not as a traitor, but as someone rebuilding themselves, and for the first time in years, I felt peace. The door closes for good. A week later, she was gone. A new city, a new life. Aaron stayed, working under me, respectful, humbled. Our friendship didn't return, but neither did hatred. He carried his guilt like a scar, permanent, visible. One evening at the empty office, he approached me. "Why did you ever give me a chance?" I looked out at the city lights. Because burning bridges makes light for a moment, but rebuilding them lights a lifetime. He nodded slowly, understanding. Not forgiveness, not friendship, but closure. Sometimes revenge isn't winning over someone else, it's winning over who you used to be.
Part 5.
And I did.
Rise from the ashes. The weeks after Emily left were quiet. The office felt different, lighter, but also strangely empty. The tension that once pulsed between Emily and Aaron had dissipated, replaced by a cautious professionalism. Aaron worked diligently, aware of every misstep, every past mistake, every word he had once whispered that betrayed trust. He never apologized again. He didn't need to. Silence and action spoke louder than words. And me? I thrived. Ethan's empire. I took over larger projects, expanded the division, and earned a reputation as a fair but unstoppable leader. Clients who had once doubted me now sought me out. Deals that required finesse and boldness became my specialty. And every time a team member asked for guidance, I remembered the lessons Emily and Aaron taught me in their own flawed way. Betrayal and regret make people better if you channel the lesson right. 3 years passed. I became director of operations, then senior vice president. Eventually, the board invited me to buy into the company, an offer I took without hesitation. Now, I wasn't just supervising the betrayers, I was running the show. My small Ohio dreams had grown into a nationwide enterprise. Emily returns. I hadn't heard from Emily in over 2 years. Chicago had been good for her. She called occasionally to thank me for recommendations, letters of reference, or just to check in. But it was always business, always polite, always distant. Then, one afternoon, a letter arrived. Thick envelope, handwritten. I opened it carefully. Inside was a note, a plane ticket, and a hotel reservation under her name. Ethan, I need to see you. Not for the past, not for apologies, but for closure and maybe guidance. Please. Chicago has taught me many things, but I still feel incomplete without your counsel. I smiled. The old spark of recognition flared. She wanted to see the man I had become, not the boy I once was. The reunion. She arrived at my office 2 days later. Her hair was shorter, her style sharp, her expression confident. Gone was the nervous, tear-stained girl I had once watched cry in the break room. Emily, I said, standing. She extended a hand. Ethan. I shook it, then gestured to the seat. You've done well, I said. I've seen your letters, your career progression. Chicago suits you. She smiled faintly. It was necessary. Everything that happened back then, it built me into someone I could be proud of. I studied her carefully. And are you proud, Emily? She paused. Yes, but I couldn't have done it without the lessons I learned from you, from everything. For the first time in years, she looked at me not with fear, not with regret, not with longing, but with respect, and that was more powerful than any revenge I could have imagined. The final closure. We spent hours talking, not about betrayal, not about Aaron, not about the past mistakes. We spoke about strategy, vision, life plans. She asked questions, I gave advice. She left with clarity, focus, and gratitude, and I left with peace, finally, truly free from the shadow of what she did. Revenge isn't always about ruining someone else. Sometimes it's about becoming unbreakable despite them. Epilogue. Ethan Cole's legacy. Ethan Cole, once the betrayed small-town mechanic, became the CEO of a nationwide enterprise. Aaron, humbled and competent, rose under his mentorship. Emily, wiser and stronger, carried her lessons into a life she now controlled, independent of the past. Betrayal had been the crucible, pain had been the forge, and karma, patient and precise, had played its hand. In the end, everyone grew, some through suffering, some through redemption, some through mastery of themselves. And I rose not just above betrayal, but above myself, because true revenge isn't about hurting others, it's about becoming the person they wish they hadn't lost.